wealth is his strong city, referring to the walls about his cities. And a poor man's poverty is his own destruction. That's because a rich man acts rich and a poor man acts poor. So the poor man stays poor, the rich man stays rich. Now, this is one of the difficulties in having a situation where children are not raised to believe and worship and know God, and to have the idea that it's hard to receive anything from God, and that you don't ever get money from God, you get money from the company. That's hard. This is the reason our cultures have clashed. African culture, I mean, this is just, it worked fine there because that's what everybody did. African culture, particularly in some of the more dominant tribes, for instance, like the Zulus, African culture was that the grandparents raised the children. And the parents, particularly the father, didn't have anything to do with it. Now, mama did while they were little, but then the grandparents did, and that was practiced. But when you get mixing with European white culture, in the European white culture, it was the culture thing to do for a father to teach his son everything he knows. He teaches him about his business. That boy was supposed to come up and take that business, and he teaches him everything he knows. By the time this little kid's 6 or 7 years old, he's got most of the mind and knowledge of a man that's 30, 35, 40 years old. But now here's another child that comes from a different type culture, and he runs into this little white European kid, and he don't know what's going on. Ain't nobody telling him anything. All he knows how to do is wash dishes. That's all his grandma told him. He's at a real disadvantage when he gets around this other child that's way ahead of it. He's not smarter than he is. He's got information. See? Now, we're going to have trouble here because one of these kids is going to dominate the other one through information. And once in a while, you're going to come across one of these little guys that's going to get tired of that. He's getting tired of being conned into shining his shoes. He's getting tired of being conned into doing his work for him because he doesn't have any information. And as they get older, the one with the information will wind up dominating the one without it. And that is a picture of the religious church. A lot of religious information, but not anything that works on the street. And them devils out there will dominate you, and they'll run your church, they'll run your family, they'll tell you when you can eat, when you can't. And they'll dig around in your sandwiches when you check in at the first gate. I got so mad one time, I hadn't been out of high school long. I got me a job in a big military plant, and I stayed there 2 whole weeks. I hated all of it. I walked up there one morning, and this guard, I was supposed to pass by that guard and open my lunchbox, and he's going to dig around in there. I got within about 3 people of him, and I said out loud, "By God, you ain't digging in my dinner anymore." I just turned around and walked off. That wasn't all I said, but that's all I can repeat. I don't know where he thought I had a bomb or what in that lunch pail, but I thought, they still owe me 2 weeks of pay. And I don't want it. I wasn't worth it anyway. But that's what happens. That's the way the devil will do you when you don't have any information. You understand what I'm saying here? That's the way the loaning institutions will do you when you don't have any information. My Lord. Hallelujah. I don't know whether you get anything out of this or not, but pretty good information here. John 6, Jesus is always looking for faith in God. My job or my ministry is only one way or one channel for God to use through which to meet my needs. Never ever declare we can't afford it. What determines what you can afford?